everyone. Welcome. This is Amy Cooper with Rise, and we are interviewing exceptional women in insurance. And I am so happy to have with me today Gina Reyes. Welcome. Thank you for jumping on with me.
Thank you. It's very nice of you to have me here. I'm excited to talk today.
So tell everyone a little bit about what you do, your role at Openly.
Yeah. So, Openly is an insurance, we sell premium insurance policies, homeowners only. I've been here about 3 years now. I'm 28 years into my career in the industry. The first 25 I spent with two of the larger carriers. I had an opportunity to learn a ton, and then I had this great opportunity to come to Openly and start up my own claims team and help build the business and build an organization. And I think what a heck of a way to finish your career is being able to just take everything you learned over the last 25 years and put it together and try new things. And I took the risk because it was exciting, and I have not looked back. I've been having a great time, and it's just been a really great 3 years being here and building something from ground up. So
That's going to be so exciting, building something from scratch. And like you said, getting to apply everything. You've had a very successful career so far, and we're kind of talking about women in the insurance industry. So I'm just curious, have you ever experienced like a special challenge that you faced as a woman in insurance? And can you tell us about how you overcame that?
yeah, so over the 28 years, the experiences have evolved. So many years ago, when I was a field adjuster, I would schedule an appointment. I remember distinctly this one man said, I called him and said, I need to come out and look at your roof. And he said, what's a young lady like you going to do with my claim? And I'm like, well, if you want me to check, you better let me come, So, it was from even customers just being like, what is a woman doing with a ladder and trying to get up on your roof? And then I worked catastrophe for a long time, and this was in the 90s. Yes, in the 90s. Not a lot of women out there in the industry at all. And I was one of the few female adjusters out on the CAT team. And so I was always the only female out there, almost always. And when you're out on CAT work, you kind of live and eat every meal with each other. You're in a hotel, you're away from home. So I was just always the only female around. And it wasn't is a challenge trying to fit in, and a challenge trying to just constantly talking about sports and hunting and cars. And over time, people have become more aware, or maybe I've adapted as well, of just conversations. Like, people don't realize that just the conversations you're having all the time needs to be a little more inclusive to the people, to everyone at the table, not just a certain group or the ones that look just like you. So, and then as I got older, and I was quite young when I got into leadership. As I became a leader and got more, my career kept progressing. I was experiencing what was now called imposter syndrome. Didn't know what it was back then, but you always felt like you just had to do a little bit more. I had to work a little harder and put more hours in and always be available. And just everything had to be done perfectly because you were competing. At least I thought I was competing, against men. And I just, being the only female for a long time in leadership in my group, it was also just one more thing I felt I needed to prove. And so that took me, I'd say 15 or 20 years to get over. So I'm not sure. I just remember just kind of an aha moment of like, I don't have to prove anything. My value, my skills, my track record has already proven it, and just get over yourself. And the minute I started doing that and just really getting comfortable with who I am and where I got here because I earned it, not for any other reason, really took a big weight off of my shoulders. And I really started performing even better when I took that stress and that internal pressure. And that is that is something terrible that a lot of women do to themselves is they judge themselves versus what others are thinking. And I remember having one boss saying, Gina, you don't have to give me 150% every time, like calm down. 100% is good, 100% is great. I just need you to like mentally be a little happier and a little less stressed. So, it's been a long road and I've learned a lot about myself over the time, and you've got to really give yourself a little bit of a break.
That's good advice. I think we could all of us A-type personalities could use a little bit of that. So, and I know you just answered a little bit about gender bias, but I don't know if you have any other examples to share of where you've encountered that throughout your career.
Yeah, I have a couple situations that have really like stuck in my mind for my whole career. The first one was when I went to a new company and I was a leader for a region. We had our first employee engagement survey, and that was probably 9 months after I got there. During that time, I had to hire a lot of leaders, a lot of like frontline leaders and level leaders. And some were men, some were women. I hired the best person for the job. So in the employee engagement survey, the comments were Gina only hires women, Gina only promotes women. This is just really negative about this aspect. And so I went back. Obviously that was very disheartening and frustrating. And I went back and looked at my staff because I was like, this is crazy. And I would say well over 50% of the people I hired and promoted were men. My whole leadership team was only 30% women. And this to me was like, wow, this is a systemic problem that we need to start from somewhere else. It's not a Gina issue that people actually think at 30% women in your leadership team is too many women is the only thing happening. And that because I hired and promoted almost as many women as men, that I only promoted and hired women. Like that was
Wow.
perception. And so something had to change. And so that was like my first aha moment of, okay, I've got to change the way. And I addressed it with the team, and kind of put it in perspective. But that's how our industry was thinking at the time. It was probably 15 years ago. So I had another time where I was on a call with some people, different groups, some from like a home office process people, and I was a field manager. And I was asking questions, giving me a little pushback on a topic, and people were just looking at me cross-eyed and just thinking like, I can't believe how rude she is, or what a B word she is. And so I messaged my male partner and said, say the same thing, and they did. And then it was fine. Oh yeah, okay. And I thought both of us were like, are you kidding me?
So like in real life here.
Yeah, it's happened. And you can't crumble when these things happen. You just have to keep standing on your own, doing the right thing, maybe bringing it to people's attention. This didn't happen when a man said it. Let's look at the data. Nope, we're still not even 50-50 on men and women. And you think this is a problem. So I think people just have to be bold and be factual as well, and not be scared to sound, inappropriate when you're bringing up facts and bringing up information about bias, essentially, or equality or inclusion.
Yeah, that it's always like get back to the truth and kindness and realize that everyone's got their bias, but as an industry we're working really hard to overcome it. So it's very cool and encouraging to see how much you've raised up in your career despite a lot of these challenges.
Yeah, it's been a long road for sure.
Well, and ever since I met you, I feel like you bring your authentic self and I love it. So just tell me like a little bit more about how you're bringing your authentic self to work too.
Yeah.
Has it always been like that or?
No. Maybe a little bit. which is probably why I get myself my mouth in trouble a little bit once in a while. But where I work today, it's very cool. Like everybody is very much encouraged to bring their authentic self. And we are 100% remote. So that does help bringing like diversity to the organization, because you're not, okay, we're only looking for people in Boston or only looking for people in Texas. So everybody doesn't look and feel the same, because we can hire from anywhere. So that's the first piece. But what I when I interviewed for this job, I actually had pink hair. And this is insurance, you know? So this is a very conservative world. And I was like, well, my hair is pink, so guess they'll like me or not, and it was not a problem. And I remember doing a panel interview with another VP for our company later down the road. And my friend and I are messaging each other, is that a nose ring I see on Zoom? And it doesn't matter in this company. Bring yourself. People openly talk about their religion, their race, their sexual orientation, and are encouraged. And we just ask questions and people are accepting of it, just trying to learn from each other. But I don't think anybody in our company has to hide anything. And I think that when you bring your authentic self to work, and then your leadership shows that as well. So people want genuine, authentic leaders who can demonstrate whatever they are, whatever they want to be, but also show that they care and that it's okay to be unique. And, I have pink hair. What do you have? Like, what's your differentiator these days? So, yeah, I think it's very important for people. I mean, if you're not bringing yourself to work, then you're just really being fake. And it takes a toll on you internally, as much as eventually people are going to figure that out.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree. And I think that even especially with like the next generation coming up, if you can't embrace authenticity and get over a tattoo or get over something, you're going to lose out on a lot of talent that doesn't want any part of the facade that we put on for business. So yeah, definitely agree. So obviously lots of other women coming into the industry. You've had a successful career. Do you have any advice for those that are looking to, they aspire to have your heights, your success?
Yeah, I do. Some of it is stuff that we've talked about, like the imposter syndrome. Like, read up on it and learn on it, and have courage and have confidence in yourself. Because if you don't have confidence in yourself, how are other people going to have confidence in you? And so I think that's really important. And I have a very large family, and a lot of like young ladies in my family getting out of college and going into the workforce. And I send them a book, and I'm like, just have confidence in yourself, be yourself. Don't be afraid. And it's okay to advocate for yourself. A lot of us don't, or haven't in the past, and it took us longer to get to certain levels of our career or get the jobs that we wanted, because we were waiting for somebody. We just didn't feel like we were 100% ready for that job, but 95% ready for the next role isn't good enough in our minds, where that's not necessarily true, or it's also your own opinion. So don't give yourself a break. Don't judge yourself too hard. Find people that you really trust and that you can bounce ideas and crazy ideas off of, or vent to, and get help, and that they'll give you critical feedback and support you. But I think that we have to really support each other. We have to, as women, we have to have more confidence in ourselves and not be afraid, and just have some guts to go out there. And it's like my friend says, probably most of us know, Jessica Hamilton, you got to have grit. If you have grit, you can go out there and get it. And I love that saying that she says. And I hope more younger women find it faster than I did.
Well, thank you so much for imparting your wisdom, sharing with me today on this video. Really appreciate having you on.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Happy Women's History Month.
Yeah, and for those watching, just follow Rise Professionals for more Women's History Month videos and interviewing and introducing you to some very exceptional women in insurance.
Thank you.